My Three Sons. 1960-1972 remains one of the most beloved family sitcoms of the 1960s following widowed father Steve Douglas, as he raises his three boys with warmth, humor, and timeless lessons. For over a decade, the series captured the hearts of millions and became a classic in American television history. But what happened to the stars after the cameras stopped rolling? Some became Hollywood legends, others quietly stepped away from the spotlight, and a few are still cherished by fans today. Let's take a look at the cast of My Three Sons then and now. Tim Considine played Mike Douglas, the eldest son, in My Three Sons 1960 when he was 19 years old. Mike was portrayed as intelligent, level-headed, and often the responsible older brother who set an example for Robbie and Chip. His storylines included navigating college life, early adulthood, and eventually marriage to Sally Ann Morrison, after which his character was written out of the series in 1965. This departure marked a major transition for the show, symbolizing the real-life growth and independence of children leaving the nest. Off-screen, Considine was a versatile talent, remembered as one of Disney's early stars in Spin and Marty and the Hardy Boys serials in the 1950s. Beyond acting, he pursued careers as a writer, automotive historian, and photographer, authoring respected books on cars and motorsports. In his personal life, Considine married Willette Hunt in 1979 and later Charlotte Stewart before a lasting marriage to Willette Hunt Considine. He passed away on March 3, 2022, at the age of 81, leaving behind a legacy as both a child star who grew into adult artistry and as the original eldest son who helped launch one of America's most enduring sitcom families. Stanley Livingston played Richard Chip Douglas in My Three Sons 1960 when he was only 9 years old, portraying the youngest of Steve's original sons. Chip began as a curious and mischievous boy whose playful antics often drove family storylines. But his character matured steadily across 12 seasons, growing into a thoughtful young man. His journey from wide-eyed child to responsible adult gave viewers one of the show's most heartfelt arcs, making him a relatable figure for audiences who grew alongside him. Unlike some characters whose departures marked the show's transitions, Chip remained central from beginning to end, a constant presence that underscored the series' theme of familial continuity. Away from the show, Stanley Livingston acted in films like How the West Was Won 1962 later, focusing on directing, producing, and behind-the-scenes work in television. In his personal life, he married twice, first to Sandra Goebel in 1968 and later to Paula Drake. Still alive today, Livingston is fondly remembered as the boy who matured in front of America's eyes forever, tied to the wholesome image of My Three Sons. As of 2025, he is 74 years old. Fred MacMurray portrayed Steve Douglas in My Three Sons 1960 when he was 52 years old, embodying the widowed father with quiet strength and warmth. Steve was an aeronautical engineer and the steady heart of the family, raising his sons with patience, humor, and moral conviction. Throughout the series, he guided his children through life's challenges, offering wisdom that balanced discipline with affection. His remarriage to Barbara Harper expanded the household, adding a daughter and reflecting the show's evolving family dynamic. Steve never faced an on-screen death. Instead, he remained the unshakable foundation, a symbol of paternal love and resilience. Off-screen, MacMurray enjoyed a long and successful career with iconic roles in Double Indemnity 1944 and Disney favorites like The Absent-Minded Professor 1961. He married actress June Haver in 1954, and together they adopted twins, creating a stable family life that mirrored his TV persona. Fred MacMurray passed away on November 5, 1991 at the age of 83 from pneumonia, leaving behind a legacy as both a classic film star and one of television's most enduring fathers. Barry Livingston played Ernie Thompson Douglas in My Three Sons, beginning in 1963 when he was only 9 years old. Introduced as an orphaned friend of the Douglas family, Ernie was later adopted by Steve, symbolizing the show's message of love extending beyond blood. Bright, kind-hearted, and slightly nerdy Ernie brought humor and warmth with his earnest nature and eagerness to fit into the household. His storylines often centered on the trials of adolescent school identity and belonging, making him one of the most relatable characters for young viewers. Unlike characters who left the series, Ernie remained until its conclusion, standing as proof of the evolving yet enduring nature of the Douglas family. Outside the show, Barry Livingston built a steady career in both film and television, appearing in You Don't Mess with the Zohan 2008, Argo 2012, and guest roles in many popular TV series. He also wrote a memoir titled The Importance of Being Ernie, reflecting on his unique childhood in Hollywood. In his personal life, he married Karen Huntsman in 1983, and they have 2 children. Still active in entertainment, Barry continues to appear on screen and at fan events. As of 2025, he is 71 years old. Tina Cole played Katie Miller Douglas in My Three Sons, beginning in 1990 when she was 24 years old. Introduced as Robbie Douglas's sweetheart, Katie was portrayed as bright, supportive, and deeply loving, embodying the ideal young wife and later mother. Her marriage to Robbie became one of the show's most memorable arcs as audiences followed their journey into parenthood, with the birth of triplets an event that symbolized generational continuity and growth in the series. Katie's presence softened the show, adding romance and family expansion, while highlighting the challenges of balancing youth marriage and responsibility. Beyond the series, Tina Cole worked with the King Family Musical Group and appeared in other TV productions such as Hawaiian Eye and To Rome with Love. She also devoted part of her life to teaching drama and mentoring young performers. In her personal life, she married twice and had 4 children, balancing motherhood with her career. Still warmly remembered by fans, she occasionally appears at nostalgia conventions and interviews to discuss her time on the show. As of 2025, she is 81 years old. Don Grady portrayed Robbie Douglas in My Three Sons 1960 when he was 16 years old, taking on the role of Steve's second son. Robbie began as a lively, ambitious teenager whose charm and humor often brought energy to the household. As the show progressed, Robbie grew into adulthood pursuing engineering, like his father, and eventually marrying Katie Miller, with whom he had triplets symbolizing the generational growth at the heart of the series. His storyline highlighted love, responsibility, and the challenges of balancing young marriage with career ambitions, making him one of the most developed characters on the show. Beyond the series, Don Grady had a varied career as both actor and musician. He was a Mouseketeer in the Mickey Mouse Club, and later composed music for television, film, and theater, showcasing his creative versatility. In his personal life, Grady married Virginia Lou Sater in 1985, and they had 2 children together. Sadly, Don Grady passed away on June 27, 2012, at the age of 68 after a battle with cancer. His death was mourned by fans who remembered him as both a talented performer and a beloved television son whose journey mirrored the hopes and struggles of real families. William Frawley portrayed Michael Francis Bub O'Casey in My Three Sons 1960 when he was 73 years old, stepping into the role of Steve Douglas's father-in-law and the boys' live-in grandfather figure. Bub was warm-hearted, practical, and a touch grumpy, often clashing humorously with the boys while still guiding them with deep affection. He cooked managed household tasks and served as a surrogate motherly presence in the absence of Steve's late wife. Bub's character was integral in the early years, balancing discipline with kindness. Unfortunately, health issues forced Frawley to leave the series in 1965, and his absence was explained by Bub moving to Ireland. Off-screen, William Frawley was already a television legend, most famous for his role as Fred Mertz in I Love Lucy, 1951-1957. His gruff comedic timing made him beloved in both shows. Never married, Frawley was known for his sharp wit and colorful personality. He passed away on March 3, 1966, at the age of 79, after suffering a heart attack, leaving behind a reputation as one of TV's greatest character actors. Rana Troop joined My Three Sons in 1968 at the age of 23, playing Polly Williams, who would become Chip Douglas's sweetheart and eventually his wife. Polly was written as kind, loyal, and supportive, embodying the optimism of young adulthood. She was not a central figure in every episode, but her relationship with Chip offered audiences a glimpse into how the younger generation of the Douglas family grew beyond childhood, facing the responsibilities of love and marriage. Her wedding to Chip marked a significant development in the storyline, reflecting the cycle of family life as the children matured and began building families of their own. Polly often provided a grounding influence for Chip's character, balancing his boyish energy with her steadiness. Off-screen, Rana Troop's career included steady work on television throughout the 1970s and 1980s, with appearances in shows like Emergency, The Partridge Family, and Marcus Welby, MD, as well as guest spots in many long-running series. Later, she shifted much of her focus to education, working as a teacher and shaping lives away from Hollywood. Known for her grace and intelligence, she remains a beloved figure among classic TV fans. In her personal life, she married twice and raised 2 daughters. Still alive today, Rana Troop continues to be warmly remembered for bringing gentleness and authenticity to her role. As of 2025, she is 79 years old. William Demarest portrayed Uncle Charlie O'Casey in My Three Sons, starting in 1965 when he was 73 years old, stepping in as the gruff but lovable housekeeper and guardian after William Frawley's departure. Uncle Charlie, a retired sailor, was known for his blunt honesty, irritable temper, and big heart, providing comic relief, while also grounding the family with his no-nonsense wisdom. Though often exasperated by the boys' antics, he was fiercely protective of them, and became a beloved fixture in the household, adding texture and humor to later seasons. Off-screen, Demarest had a long Hollywood career, appearing in more than 100 films, including collaborations with director Preston Sturges like The Lady Eve 1941 and Sullivan's Travels 1941. His talent for both comedy and drama made him one of the great character actors of his time. Married to Estelle Collette, Demarest enjoyed a stable personal life away from the spotlight. He passed away on December 28, 1983 at the age of 91 from prostate cancer, remembered fondly as the cranky but endearing uncle who brought a new spark to My Three Sons. Don Lynn portrayed Dodie Harper Douglas in My Three Sons beginning in 1969, when she was only 6 years old, the youngest cast member to join the series. Dodie was the daughter of Barbara Harper, Steve Douglas's new wife, and her arrival marked a significant shift in the show as it expanded into a blended family. Bright, sweet, and sometimes a little spoiled, Dodie often sought attention from her much older stepbrothers while bringing innocence and lighthearted comedy into the household. Storylines for Dodie included childhood struggles, adapting to her new family, and the gentle lessons of growing up with both a protective father figure and caring older siblings. She was never portrayed as a tragic or troubled child, but rather as the symbol of new beginnings and fresh joy, softening the show's later seasons. Off-screen, Dawn. Lynn acted in several television series and films, including recurring roles in Barnaby Jones and guest appearances on Gunsmoke and Adam 12. Though she eventually stepped away from Hollywood at a young age, she has lived a relatively private adult life, occasionally reconnecting with fans at nostalgic events and reunions with her castmates. Still alive today, she is remembered as the small, charming girl who completed the Douglas family picture in the later years of the show. As of 2025, Dawn Lynn is 62 years old. John Howard appeared in My Three Sons in 1964 as Dave Welch when he was 51 years old. Dave was written as a friend and colleague within Steve Douglas's social circle, often serving as a professional connection and occasional advisor. His character reflected the adult world outside the family, giving Steve a peer to converse with about work-family responsibilities and life decisions. Though not a central character, Dave added realism and depth, reminding audiences that Steve's world extended beyond the walls of his household. John Howard, born on April 14, 1913, was a versatile actor whose career spanned both film and television. He was known for his recurring role as Bulldog Drummond in the 1930s film series, and for his work in Lost Horizon 1937. In addition to acting, Howard also served in the U.S. Navy during World War II, demonstrating bravery and leadership outside Hollywood. He later returned to television, appearing in series like Perry Mason, Mission Impossible, and Mannix. Married to actress Eva Ralph Howard, balanced family life with his career. He passed away on February 19, 1995 at the age of 81, remembered for his classic film work and steady contributions to television. Beverly Garland joined My Three Sons in 1969 as Barbara Harper Douglas, at the age of 43, playing Steve Douglas's second wife. Barbara was portrayed as compassionate, practical, and devoted, seamlessly integrating into the family and becoming both a partner to Steve and a loving stepmother to his sons. Her addition reflected the show's evolution into a blended family narrative, reinforcing themes of resilience, healing, and new beginnings after loss. Barbara's presence brought fresh dynamics to the later seasons, helping expand the household's warmth and stability. Off-screen, Beverly Garland had an extensive career in television and film, known for her versatility in roles ranging from strong heroines in 1950s B-movies to recurring appearances on Scarecrow and Mrs. King, 1983 and 1987, and Seventh Heaven. She also became a successful businesswoman operating the Beverly Garland Holiday Inn in North Hollywood. Married to businessman Fillmore Crank. Until his death in 1999, Garland was admired for balancing her personal and professional lives with grace. She passed away on December 5, 2008 at the age of 82 from natural causes, leaving behind a legacy as both a respected actress and a pioneering woman in Hollywood. Joan Vos joined My Three Sons in 1964 as Jan Deering when she was 37 years old. Jan's character was written as a sophisticated and graceful woman who added a sense of glamour and maturity to the show's storylines. Often tied to social or romantic subplots, Jan reflected the world of adults that the Douglas boys were gradually stepping into as they matured. Though not a core family member, her character highlighted how the series balanced youthful themes with more grown-up relationships and situations. Joan Vos, born on July 30, 1927, had a vibrant career as a model before transitioning to acting. She appeared in films such as The Ten Commandments, 1956, and in numerous television shows including Perry Mason, 77 Sunset Strip, and Bewitched. Known for her elegance, she often played polished, intelligent women. In her personal life, she married John Stevens in 1952, with whom she raised 2 children. She passed away on June 4, 2001 at the age of 73, leaving behind a reputation as a versatile actress who contributed to both film epics and classic TV. Meredith MacRae portrayed Sally Ann Morrison Douglas in My Three Sons, beginning in 1963 when she was 19 years old, playing the love interest and eventual wife of Mike Douglas. Sally was portrayed as wholesome, intelligent, and steady, perfectly suited for the responsible oldest son. Her romance with Mike became one of the first major arcs of the show, and their wedding in 1965 was written as the catalyst for Mike's departure from the series, marking a turning point as the show transitioned into new storylines. Sally represented the natural progression of adulthood and independence, highlighting the realistic way families evolve when children grow up and leave home. Off-screen, Meredith MacRae was more than just a sitcom actress. She became a versatile television star remembered for her work on Petticoat Junction and Mannix. She also appeared in films, stage productions, and later became a respected talk show host known for her poise and intelligence. Beyond her career, MacRae was admired for her advocacy work, raising awareness about cancer and health issues. In her personal life, she married 3 times, most notably to actor Greg Mullavey, with whom she had a daughter named Allison. Tragically, Meredith MacRae passed away on July 14, 2000, at just 56 years old after a battle with brain cancer. Her passing was deeply mourned by fans and colleagues alike who remembered her as a radiant actress and a warm, engaging presence in American television. John Gallaudet portrayed Bob Anderson in My Three Sons from the early 1960s, first appearing in 1960 when he was 57 years old. Bob Anderson was often seen as a supportive neighbor and recurring figure within the Douglas family's community, providing a sense of stability and connection to the larger world outside the household. His character offered humor, friendship, and an everyman presence, anchoring the Douglas family within a believable suburban setting. Though never the focus of long story arcs, Bob helped flesh out the environment of the series. John Gallaudet, born on August 23, 1903, had an extensive career in film and television, appearing in over 300 productions. He became a recognizable face in supporting roles in films such as Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, 1939, and later transitioned into steady television work. Known for his versatility and reliability, he was frequently cast as lawyers, judges, and businessmen. Off-screen, he married Constance Helen McKinnon, with whom he had 3 children. Gallaudet passed away on November 5, 1983 at the age of 80, leaving behind the legacy of a character actor who brought depth and believability to every role. Natalie Masters appeared in My Three Sons in 1961 as Mrs. Bergen when she was 46 years old. Within the series, Mrs. Bergen embodied the friendly and watchful neighbor archetype, a woman who provided warmth, reassurance, and community grounding to the Douglas family. She occasionally offered advice and comedic asides, acting as a reminder that even the most independent households benefit from caring friends around them. Though she was not a recurring character, her presence enhanced the authenticity of the show's suburban setting, showing how family life connected with neighbors and acquaintances. Natalie Masters, born on November 23, 1915, enjoyed a multifaceted career in entertainment, particularly notable in radio. She became famous as the voice of Candy Matson in Candy Matson, Yukon, 28209, 1949 to 1951. One of the few detective dramas of its time to feature a sharp, witty female private investigator, a groundbreaking role for women in the medium. Beyond radio, she transitioned into television, making appearances on Dragnet, Perry Mason, and Gunsmoke, where her adaptability allowed her to move between drama and lighter fare. Married to actor Monty Masters, she balanced her family life with her creative career. Masters passed away on February 9, 1986 at the age of 70, remembered as a trailblazer in radio drama and a dependable performer on television. Olive Dunbar appeared in My Three Sons in 1961 as Ruth Pfeiffer when she was 36 years old. Ruth was introduced in the show's early years as part of the Douglas family's wider circle, a figure who added dimension to the family's social environment. She often appeared as a supportive and sensible presence, reflecting the community spirit that the series emphasized alongside its central father and son's storyline. While not a recurring major character, Ruth's inclusion gave authenticity to the suburban family setting, where friends and acquaintances played important roles in shaping the household's life. Olive Dunbar, born on March 30th, 1925, built her acting career with appearances on stage, film, and television. She was active in the 1950s and 1960s with roles in programs like Perry Mason Gunsmoke and Twilight Zone. Known for her poise and strong screen presence, she worked steadily until the 1980s. Off-screen, she lived a relatively private life, not seeking the spotlight. Olive Dunbar passed away on February 8, 2017 at the age of 91, remembered for her contributions to the golden era of television and her ability to bring depth to supporting roles. Norman Alden joined My Three Sons in 1970 as Tom Williams when he was 6 years old. His character Tom was often depicted as a relatable working-class figure who brought humor, practicality, and grounded wisdom to his interactions with the Douglas family. In contrast to some of the show's more polished suburban settings, Tom represented a down-to-earth energy that broadened the scope of the series during its later years. Norman Alden, born on September 13, 1924, had one of the most varied careers among his contemporaries, working across film, television, and voice acting. His rugged features and distinctive voice made him a natural choice for roles of authority or blue-collar strength. He appeared in popular shows such as Starsky and Hutch Dallas and The Rockford Files, while also carving out a film career that included Back to the Future 1985, in which he memorably played Lou, the friendly cafe owner. He also voiced Aquaman in the animated Super Friends series, bringing a heroic dimension to his repertoire. Alden remained active for decades with performances in films like Ed Wood, 1994, and K9, 1989. He passed away on July 27, 2012 at the age of 87, leaving behind a body of work that demonstrated range longevity and a dedication to his craft across multiple generations of Hollywood entertainment. Cynthia Pepper played Jean Pearson in My Three Sons beginning in 1960 when she was just 20 years old. Jean was one of Mike Douglas's earliest love interests, a sweet and charming young woman whose relationship with him provided one of the show's earliest romantic arcs. Their courtship reflected the innocence of early 1960s television romance, wholesome, idealistic, and full of optimism. Though Jean did not remain a permanent character, her role represented the natural growth of the eldest Douglas son as he began stepping into adulthood. Off-screen, Cynthia Pepper built a promising career as both a television and film actress. She starred in her own short-lived series Margie, 1961 to 1962, appeared in the film Kissin' Cousins, 1964, alongside Elvis Presley, and made guest appearances on Perry Mason and Wagon Train. Born on September 4, 1940, Pepper brought youthful brightness to her roles. In her personal life, she married twice and had one son, balancing family with her Hollywood career. Still alive today, Cynthia Pepper remains warmly remembered as one of the charming young actresses of 1960s television. As of 2025, she is 85 years old. Sidney Clute appeared in My Three Sons in 1962, taking on small roles such as Bert Henderson and Frank when he was 46 years old. His characters were often community figures, neighbors, business associates, or local officials who brought realism and maturity to the Douglas family's suburban world. While his appearances were brief, Clute's authoritative demeanor gave authenticity to the environment of the show, making him a classic example of the dependable character actors who quietly strengthened television storytelling. Born on April 21, 1916, Clute's career spanned several decades, with his best-known work coming later in life. He guest-starred in numerous programs, including Perry Mason, Mission Impossible, and Hawaii Five-0, always bringing a sense of believability to his roles. His defining success came in the 1980s with his role as Detective Paul LaGuardia on Cagney and Lacey, where he portrayed a steady, trustworthy member of the police team. Even after his death on October 2, 1985, at the age of 69, the show continued to honor him by keeping his name in the credits, a tribute to his importance within the cast. Known for his professionalism and consistency, Clute left behind a quiet but enduring legacy as an actor who elevated every scene he entered. Betty Lynn joined My Three Sons in 1907 playing Janet Dawson, sometimes listed as Janice Dawson when she was 41 years old. Janet's character was graceful, compassionate, and emblematic of the wholesome women who frequently crossed paths with the Douglas household. Whether through gentle guidance or romantic undertones, she contributed to the show's balance between lighthearted family comedy and more adult social themes. Betty Lynn, born on August 29, 1926, began her career as a performer during World War II, singing for servicemen in USO shows. She transitioned to Hollywood films in the late 1940s, starring in Sitting Pretty, 1948, Mother as a Freshman, 1949, and Cheaper by the Dozen, 1950. Despite her impressive film work, she found her greatest success on television, where she became beloved as Thelma Lou Barney Fife's devoted girlfriend on The Andy Griffith Show. Lynn's performance brought warmth and humanity to the series, cementing her as one of classic television's most cherished supporting actresses. Later in life, she moved to Mount Airy, North Carolina, Andy Griffith's real hometown, where she became a beloved figure at local fan events, embracing her legacy with grace. Betty Lynn passed away on October 16, 2021, at the age of 95, celebrated for her kindness, her generosity with fans, and her lasting place in American television history. Who is your favorite character from My Three Sons? How do you feel knowing that some cast members are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications to stay updated. We appreciate your support and are glad to have you as part of our community.